It's a Mosley show, and boy, it's time for March Madness. This is the final show before we actually have a bracket. We already have some of the madness breaking out. Big Ten quarterfinal as we come on live with you. The Michigan is up 67-64 over Ohio State with 3 minutes to go. All right, big, huge battle, and you can find it on the Big Ten Network. All the bigwigs have relocated to Kansas City, and they've just kicked Fran Fraschilla, my buddy, and John Shambi, who I've spent time with. They've just kicked them right off the set, just like, okay, Jay Billis and Dan Schulman are here. Need you guys to take off. And same with the set, same with like the host, like Kevin Connors, who will be on with me Monday. Great guy from ESPN. He hosts all their like halftime shows, and he's a studio anchor, does Sports Centers. Great guy. But he always does the Big 12, and he hosts the thing. He does an incredible job. And like today, they're like, all right, Kev, appreciate you being with us. Gonna need to head out now. We're bringing ESPN Game Day in. As only they can. As only big. That's what they do. They kind of Bigfoot everything, and there you go. Now, and at halftime, Florida is leading Kentucky 37-28. Not a huge surprise there from Nashville SEC tournament quarterfinal. These tournaments used to really, especially back when I was a kid, the SWC, but even the Big 12 tournament, I've been several times. When your team doesn't care about the tournament, sadly, Baylor has been so good under Scott Drew that he hasn't put a huge priority on the tournament. Well, this year they actually needed to win the tournament and to have any chance of going to the NCAA tournament, and they didn't do it. They got beat in the first round, and now we've got all this controversy with the court. When the Big 12 plays again later, it'll be a new court. They're bringing hardwoods back. The LED court, it was fun. It lit up. It had bells and whistles. It looked kind of interesting. I didn't hate it as much as some people, but I did hate it when I saw Christian Anderson slip and hurt his groin, appeared to hurt his groin, and then LaJuan Watts right before that. But the slip of, because it was just kind of out of nowhere. He just was trying to kind of get free. Nobody did anything to him, and he hurt his groin. This is one of the best players in America from Texas Tech, and may be the last we see from him this season. So the court had to go. Kudos to Brett Yormark, who that's embarrassing to have to do that, to be like, well, we made a huge thing out of this court. Now we got to go pack it up and bring a new court in. And that is exactly what the Big 12 has had to do. Does that mean Yormark will stop innovating? No, it's who he is. It's who he is. All right. And I'm fine with who he is. It's just you got to be willing to go when something doesn't work. You got to go, that didn't work. All right. And we got players getting hurt. Now, of course, we got some Title IX issues because people are saying, well, the women were complaining about migraines and slipping, and you didn't do anything about it then. Waited till the men had a big problem with it and then stopped it. All right, I get it. All right, they got to take all the blowback on this thing. They got the women out of that dungeon of the municipal auditorium. And by the way, he'll be joining us soon. The Z-Man, Zach Burke, with us today. Kevin, he's got he's PA duties. He had baseball recently. Got women's tennis. I don't know who the men's tennis uses. Why do they not use Kevin? Kevin seems to be pretty good at this PA stuff. I don't know. I'd kind of like to see him in action and see what I think of his PA do. I asked somebody in baseball. I asked Tom Barfield, who does baseball for Baylor. with Derek Smith. I said, how does Kevin do? And he said, pretty good. He's pretty good. I said, does he get nervous or anything? He said, no, he's fine. He's fine. I was worried about baseball because, baseball, to me, that's not a place for like a over the top, what's the kid's name? Hunter Snow, or is that his dad's name? Which Snow is this? Hunter Snow. Like, I don't want him to go too crazy. Baseball, there needs to be some level of decorum. You can't just be going crazy over the top like you do in basketball and like he probably does in tennis. So, but I think he's represented us well, and so I'm choosing not to worry about it too much. I think Kevin's out there doing the best he can. I got my coaching hoodie on. This is kind of the Jumpman Jordan Lake Highlands gear. It's my local high school, and I am very tied into the high school. And the head coach and AD happens to be a great friend of mine. So I sometimes find myself getting some extra gear. So there you go. The Mosley show is off and running. Now, with a minute left, Michigan now has a 68-64 lead in that Big Ten quarterfinal. In the SEC quarterfinal, Florida, as I said, has the 37-28 halftime lead. During our show, Illinois and Wisconsin will get going in the Big Ten quarterfinal, another quarterfinal. And then in another quarterfinal in the SEC, Vandy and Tennessee square off at 2:30. All right. We may say goodbye at around 2:30 today. I I got my coffee. I'm fine. But I have been taking care of helping take care of some family members. And I'm very fortunate to tell you that I still have a grandmother. People are like, Mosley, you're kind of old to have a grandmother. I have a soon-to-be 103-year-old grandmother. So last night, I stayed the night with her at the hospital because she just had a new pacemaker put in. And she's great, but man, that's not, for no pun intended, the faint of heart. That's not easy for anybody to get a new pacemaker put in, but especially for somebody who's 102. So she's trying to kind of come back from that, bounce back from that. But I would say it's not the most restful time for her. And she's still very strong and very opinionated and has some thoughts on how she's feeling in these moments. And so I was up the whole night with her. And so I'm going to make the executive decision, Z, for both of us, that at about 2:30 today, we're just going to say we're done. We're done. And if any of the powers that be at Rogues, have anything to say about that, Kev, they can, or excuse me, Z, they can just call me. Right? They can give me a call. Z, you've really got that beard kind of cropped nicely.
Well, I need to trim it up a little bit more, but yeah.
It's not bad.
It's a lot of gray now, but
well, buddy, I mean,
it makes me look wise.
That's why I try to keep shaven, because then I get the gray. Fortunately, the heavens have been kind to me, and the hair barely has any gray still. So people don't exactly know how old I am. People always are freaked out when they meet me. And they'll say things, I never know how to take it. They're like, I didn't expect you to look like this. And I don't know, like, if they're let down, what they were expecting. I think in the past, sometimes they have thought I was, because of my voice or something, that I was an older man than I actually was. And then sometimes it'll be like, no, I thought you were a lot younger than you are. It's just like, oh, man.
I think some of it's, though, like the sunglasses too. They just think you're a cool, hip guy.
I think that has to be it. I think, yes. By the way, and I didn't wear them. I took the sunglasses off. I was on TV last night with Mike Ducey, representing Rogue and Rogue Media Nation, Rogue Media Network, we like to call it. I think I can call it the Rogue Media Nation if I. Yeah. What is Rogue Nation? Does that have something to do with like Star Wars or something? Isn't there a Rogue?
It seems, yeah. That does sound very Star Wars-esque. It's a Mission Impossible movie title, too.
Rogue One or something, or Rogue?
Yeah, Rogue One was a Star Wars movie, but there was a Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
There you go.
Too. So
I don't think I finished the final. What do they call that? The Final Reckoning. It was like a 2-part Mission Impossible, and I did the first part. I don't think we finished off the second part.
I haven't seen one since the second one. Not, I mean, they're good, and all for Tom Cruise and doing his own stunts. But
he gives us all hope, doesn't he? Because he's got to be like 60. He's got to be 63 or 60. And he
63, right on the money.
Wow. But I mean, there's no thought of him being that. He just, the way he operates and everything. But like he and Brad Pitt and others that are that age, and I would imagine Clooney's pushing 70.
Oh, I think
they're able to turn back the clock.
64.
Who, Clooney?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's kind of had that distinguished the gray. He went gray 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of, I think I would call him the modern day Cary Grant. He's kind of got that feel about him. Now, Cary Grant was one of the great movie stars of all time, and in his own right he was unbelievable. So I'm not saying he's as good of an actor as Cary Grant, because I mean that's pretty much. I would say he and Jimmy Stewart and maybe Spencer Tracy from that era.
What about Randolph Scott? Is he on that level?
Remind me what he.
That's a little bit older, but it's like Ride the High Country, 7 Men from Now,
okay,
Comanche Station. It was a bunch of westerns. What I remember him from, but I just
I think I can kind of picture him. Yeah, but the three I said for my money would be the best of the throwbacks, and then in the next phase, a guy we just lost at age 95, Duvall.
Mm-hmm.
De Niro, Pacino. I mean, that's a pretty
Pacino
great.
Just had a kid in his 80s, so
I thought Hackman was one of my favorites. Oh. I think he's. By the way, if you haven't seen French Connection,
yes. Oh no, I love the French Connection.
Is that not great?
Yes.
Did you know they made a French Connection? They made a sequel.
Oh,
I don't know that I've seen it. Yeah. Popeye.
Yeah, Doyle. Yeah. I remember I watched after he passed away. I finally watched The Conversation for the first time.
Was it good?
Yeah. No, it was a good one to watch in too. Yeah.
I
love Gene Hackman.
I mean, I'm partial to Hoosiers because of sports, and it was one of my favorite movies ever. But I did love he and Willem Dafoe in Mississippi Burning. I just thought that. Playing an FBI, he was so menacing. He was so great. It was just, and you wanted those people, right, to get their comeuppance, but he was the perfect person to do it because he wasn't some big, huge, mean looking guy, but in his own right, he was, and by the way, Unforgiven too, when he played Little Bill something. Whoa. Talk about menacing. All right. Well, we've got stuff to watch this weekend.
We do.
Oh, I went back and watched Godfather 1 and 2 after Duvall died here recently. And what I love, and I think more movies should do this, especially the long ones. And I had this happen with the atomic bomb movie. What was that called?
Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I had this happen to me. You get to a certain age, Z, and you'll get there soon enough. And that's too long of a movie to make it through without going to the bathroom.
I'm already there.
And it's like I hung in there, but I was dying. And what I noticed in Godfather 2 is they had an intermission. You get about an hour and a half into that thing, and it just says intermission. We need that. We need that, and we get up and we go take care of things. Okay. Less about my prostate moving forward. Michigan has defeated Ohio State 71-67. All right, so we have that, and we get all these other games started up, and then Big 12 wise, it's gonna be a fun night. I'm just gonna hole up on the couch. I can't think of anything really important I need to do. my daughter's coming back from her spring break trip, Z-Man, and, excited to get to see her a little bit before she goes back to College Station. And today she's sending us pics. She and her buddies stopped in New Orleans on the way home. And I'm like, oh, great. How long a stop is that going to be? Like, in my mind, she was going to get an early start today, be home by 4 or 5. I feel like the New Orleans stop could push things back a little bit, but what are you going to do, man? We were all there. We were all college students, and we all took the trips, and I got to do it. And we all did the road trips. But when it's your daughter, and boy, you've got a little one, so you'll know how all this works. But it's just like you're like, wait, why is she not flying? Don't we need to fly her? You start worrying about things, and I'm thinking in my mind, well, I took road trips all over the place, but you do. You start to worry a little bit more. Tonight, we got Clemson and Duke. Duke almost got beat.
Let me pull that up real quick. I saw that last night, but to find
Clemson and Duke go at 8 I'm just making sure this is Central Time. 8:30. Kansas and Houston.
That's going to be a fun one.
Is going to be at 8:30 tonight, and I'll tell you a kind of a under the radar fun game. Oklahoma, Porter Mosier's trying to make one of those backdoor runs to the NCAA tournament right now. They blew out A&M last night and I'm afraid Bucky had that coming. He pulled out an interview on me the other day, but the A&M coach. No, I like Bucky ball, but Oklahoma and Arkansas play tonight at 8:30. Listen to this. At 8:30, you've got Kansas, Houston, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Clemson, Duke, and then 8, you've got UCLA, Michigan State. Yeah.
This is my favorite time of the year. I think that the NCAA tournament is like my favorite event that happens. But with these conference tournaments, you just get so many good matchups. And sometimes it's the third time that these teams will play and they'll like have split before, or that one team was close and anything can happen. Like we talked about, Duke had the close scare last night. I don't know if y'all talked about it yesterday or not, but Bobby Knight and the 75-76 Indiana team can rest easy because Miami, Ohio finally lost one in the first round of their conference tournament yesterday. So like anything can kind of happen this time of year. So
I like that we're comparing one of the greatest teams of all time to Miami of Ohio.
It was their first loss.
Oh, man. By the way, I noticed on the Tar Heels, just can't quite get it done because they don't they're playing hard, but they don't have Caleb Wilson. And I don't know, I guess they might not get him back at all for the tournament. I don't think they will. And but I looked at a couple of their assistants were talking before a game, and I just saw a picture of it's been like 10 or 15 years. It's been even more than 15 years. I still think of that Scott May, not Scott May. He played for Indiana. Sean May. Mm-hmm. I still think of that guy as so young, and yet that Final Four they were playing in that they won, didn't they? That was like 2005.
Yeah, it was around. Yeah, I think that's might have been. Oh, it might have been before that. Let me look up the Sean May. Anyway, they won one. They won a second one not too long afterwards over Michigan State. But
he was a little pudgy. Wait, when they played Michigan State, I was at that one in Detroit. They played UNC and Michigan State were both in that one. As I remember, I ran into Plexico Burress at the game. That Final Four was in Detroit, but that would have been all the way back in 2000.
So they won the title. It was in 2005 when the Tar Heels won it with Sean May. Okay. Now, Tyler Hansbrough was on that team that defeated Michigan State.
Okay.
I'll find the year on that real quick.
One of those old games, they were introducing them the other night. I was watching it. It had
2009.
God, by the way, we think of like Bruce Weber, the way it ended at K-State, and it wasn't good. I was reminded the other day, I mean, here comes Ray Felton in that UNC Final Four team, and there all of a sudden is this guy with the slick silver hair in a orange jacket, and it was Bruce Weber. His first 2 years at Illinois, he was awesome. And then even when he went to K-State, he got them to an Elite Eight. I just think we kind of think of him as not a
was
very
that with
good
Beasley?
coach.
Was that with Michael Beasley, or was that after that?
He may have had Beasley and Bill Walker on that team.
Oh, I forgot about Bill Walker.
Yeah, Bill Walker was freaking awesome. And then later on, he had Jacob Pullen, who was a great guard. Okay, Florida now, that game has resumed, and Florida is up on Kentucky 41-30. All right, Z-Man, we'll do Campus Confidential coming up here in a few minutes at 2 o'clock. Let me make sure I get you this. Oh, here it is. I'm going to shoot this to you right now, Z, the email for our 2 o'clock guest. Joseph Duarte is going to be joining us, the decorated Houston Cougar beat man for the Chronicle. And he's been there at the Big 12 tournament with the court and the all the controversy that has come with that. And again, fun idea. Look kind of cool, probably pretty cool in person, but you can't have people sliding around, slipping around, and it just didn't seem to jive with what the players needed to have under them. You can't trick it up to the point where you got injuries. And I can understand now the women are like, wait, we were complaining too. Why didn't you shut it down for us? And so, you can kind of understand some of that. Okay, Z-Man, we need to look and see, though, last night after our show, Florida's pulling away from Kentucky as we speak. We also have TPC Sawgrass going on, the Players Championship. And, he's done for the day. Xander Schauffele has risen to the lead, 1 stroke ahead of Cameron Young in that. Ludwig Oberg, 2 strokes off the lead. And then Connors from Canada, 2 strokes off the lead, too. That's the often referred to, Z, as the 5th major. And so that's a tournament we should keep our eye on and everything. I was looking to see, I do love this, the Saints' new running back. He's changed the way you pronounce his name. Etienne, I don't know if I ever did the first one right, but he's the new running back for the Saints. He set the record today, and he pronounced it ETN. Said he gave up trying to change it and accepted. He was constantly correcting people who pronounced it ETN. Okay, that's how people did it.
So I'm one of those
but
people.
it's now. Okay, growing up, it was Travis a chain. But when I went to college, it became, so I'm like, man, it's ETN. So he's gone back. Let's see if we can get this right. Okay. He said, I'm very much open to being Travis Achan again. Achane is what they're saying is the pronunciation. How would you say it? A chain or a Chan?
Yeah, Chan? I guess a Chan. That's what I would go with. I could be wrong, but that's
Isn't that weird? ETN is now a Chan. But see, that's the weird thing. Isn't there a guy named that?
Devin for the Dolphins that might be
played at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I believe right.
Wow. All right. Cowboys free agency. And we'll hear in a minute from Rashawn Gary. And I wanted to get this latest signing in, though. The cornerback that they brought in, and of course they brought in Sam Howell, And then last night, this was after I was on TV, they addressed the cornerback situation. And Cobie Durant is the new cornerback. He comes to the Cowboys from the Rams. Now, Z, I think he could start. I think he could step in and start. I think for Parker, the new defense coordinator, I think he's a pretty versatile player. Let's not get carried away. People are out there like he can play the slot if you need to. He can play outside. He's really good. He had 3 interceptions. Listen, the Seahawks lit them up, okay, behind Darnold in the NFC title game. I mean, he may be fine, and it's not a long-term deal or anything like that. I think it's like a 1-year deal. It's a fine deal. But like everything they just did in trading for McDuffie and giving up a first-round pick and then giving him a big contract and then going after another quarterback in free agency was that so they could move on from this guy. So I do find it kind of funny in free agency how we do this. It's like, wait, the guy started. The guy was really good for the Rams. And I don't want to be – I feel like I'm turning into this negative, cynical person. I'm really not like that. But, like, how can we sit there and go, okay, they got a starter. Okay, they got this kid Thompson from Arizona. They got Rashawn Gary. They got the pass rusher. They got starting safety. They got starting cornerback. I mean, way to go. Way to go, free agency. First of all, they didn't really bust the budget like they said they were. And I think it's a stretch to say any of these players are true, like, huge impact players. Is Rashawn Gary a top 15 pass rusher in the game? Maybe around that. I would say he's probably in like the 15 to 20 range. I mean, I don't think there's a great explanation for why he literally went from the first 7-8 games last year having 7 sacks. And you're like, man, great pace. This guy's off to a great start. My gosh, maybe he's even outplaying Micah to a certain extent, and Micah gets hurt. And so a lot of it's going to be on Rashawn Gary, and he didn't have a sack the rest of the season. He went 10 games without a sack. All right? So, I mean, I like him, and I want to hear from him, and I want to react to all this. But when I look at the Cowboys timeline on who they signed, and they did agree to a deal, with the offensive lineman, Matt Hennessy. I haven't talked about that. Tyrus Wheat was the defensive end who's played with him, who's come back. Sam Howell, Z-Man, I think they have him on some list as the sexiest man alive, sexiest backup quarterback alive. People seem to think this is a great-looking man.
He's a handsome guy.
Former Dallas added another defensive back and former Texas Longhorn star P.J. Locke. I'm sorry, and it's a 1-year, $3 million deal. I hope he's helpful in special teams, and maybe he can help out. Okay, I think he's a stopgap. I think he could get you through some games, and he certainly could help you on special teams. To call P.J. Locke a star at University of Texas, I follow college football pretty closely. I do not recall like P.J. Locke being some kind of big star. Now, if anybody's out there listening and wants to sound off to us on social media or on YouTube, and by the way, if you're watching on Twitter, go ahead and hit subscribe. And we want to subscribe to YouTube. So, Z, do you remember him, the great P.J. Locke at Texas?
I don't right offhand, but I went up and I looked up his stats just to get a kind of overview. So he was there from 2015 to 2018. In his career, he started 31 of 47 games, 163 total tackles, 116 of them solo, 1.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, 15 passes defended, and four forced fumbles. He was honorable mention all Big 12 selection his senior year.
Got it. Okay. So a decent, okay, enough to get recognized late. Man, I gotta say, I envy, and I hate to do this because they're one of the longtime most hated rivals of the Cowboys, but I kind of envy what the Commanders did. I mean, they're just like, okay, 1 year, great, guy that helped the Commanders to the Super Bowl, Chason, we'll take him, the old LSU player. Oh, how about Owe? How about Ravens player? How about, it's just like edge rusher, linebacker. I thought they got 4 or 5 starters. Are they all great? No. Do the Cowboys, did I think they needed to be like the Raiders and just spend huge and then accidentally get
No, he's
Max
committed.
Back?
He's a Raider for life. He's committed now. We're all good.
Boy, that is all about trying to maintain that.
Yeah.
I do like the guy's attitude.
Yeah.
Unlike some guys that get mad and want to get traded, that season was over, and he was fighting to play at the end of that season. As horrible as they were, Pete and the gang and Gino and all of them, he was fighting to play. Now, Z-Man, we do need to react to, I don't think I got a chance to do this yesterday, the tiniest quarterback of them all, Kyler Murray, has gone to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we're not that far removed from them thinking J.J. McCarthy was their future, and that's why they moved on from Darnold, probably a bad move in retrospect, and they obviously not probably, it is. And McCarthy had his moments last season. The one I remember was against the Cowboys. Looked great against the Cowboys, not so great against a lot of other teams, and they won games because, quite honestly, they had a great defensive coordinator and were able to kind of stay afloat or stay around 500 just because of that. And then McCarthy actually looked good against the Cowboys. Now, Murray makes them way more interesting. Now, Jefferson and, let me try to think of where'd Naylor end up? Anyway, I'm just trying to think of who their receivers are. Addison's the other guy I was trying to think of. They're not going to they're not going to with this quarterback, those receivers probably aren't. I'll tell you what, I need to take this. This is a hospital calling. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with Campus Confidential.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your...
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. Don't click on links in emails and text messages. Scammers send emails and texts that look real, saying there's a problem with your account or your order. Don't click. Don't do it, ever. Instead, go directly to the company's website and log in there.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
The reason that their service is outstanding because the people they have working, behind the desk and the folks working out in the garage, taking care of business. And they give you a date, they give you a time, and they're spot on. And they're professional, they take care of it, and they answer all your questions, and they're fun to work with.
Like Alan Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Alan Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Everybody at Equalife really has a passion and a real interest in helping people feel well. How much further can we go to get you feeling even better? It is a complete partnership between the two of us.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
It's not.
All right, it is Matt Mosley. Sorry, I had to bail. I had some good Vikings talk going with Kyler Murray, who apparently grew up a Vikings fan, said he cried when Brett Favre threw the interception. I cried too because I didn't get to go to the Super Bowl. It was riding on that. For some reason, I still don't remember why. If the Vikings won that game to go to the Super Bowl, represent the NFC, I was going to cover the Super Bowl. And if the Saints won, one of my other coworkers at ESPN.com got to go. And as we all know, the Saints won because Brett Favre, who was moving the ball and had the ball down there like at the Saints 40-yard line or 30, about the 40-yard line, threw that infamous interception. I watched it again yesterday, Z, and what was he thinking? He's in his 40s, still had a great season for the Vikings that year, but he's drifting right, throwing back across his body. It was an easy pick, and it was just at the most inopportune, horrible time. And by the way, I was at that game, the NFC title game, that the Giants beat him on a similar interception. He just threw a horrible right around midfield. He threw a pick, and I think Corey Webster for the Giants got that one. So anyway, but that will be interesting to watch. And for anybody worried about, I was getting a call from the hospital. It was just they called 3 straight times, Z. And so I thought, oh my gosh, is something going on? They need me. And so I bailed out of that segment. And then they say, hey, we just wanted to see if you could help us make an appointment. We were trying to get an appointment. I'm like, why did you call me 3 straight times? You alarmed me. But anyway, everything's good. Everything's good. Z, this is the time of the day we do Campus Confidential. We will go to Kansas City and talk to someone covering the Houston Cougars for the Houston Chronicle. We'll do that at 2:00. But what do you have for me in Campus Confidential?
So you touched on it a little bit, but I'll just bring it up again here real quickly. The Big 12 is switching back to a traditional hardwood court for the semifinal games tonight and for, the rest of the tournament. I think that it's with you after why am I blanking on his name now? Christian Anderson had the pulled groin. Yeah. I think that probably added to it. It did look cool. It was something new, especially for the Premier College Basketball Conference to kind of debut and show we do cool things here. But, and Bill Self agreed that they're happy that it's moving back to a traditional hardwood court, at least for the rest of the tournament. That just makes sense. I
liked it when Self acted like he's like, I don't have as much juice as those other coaches. Yeah. I hated, I was watching it live and I think I was either about to come on or was on the show live yesterday, and Tech was down by 20 and Anderson was trying to help him get back, and Watts had already gone to the locker room with an injury, and you could just tell it was not. Sometimes you just see freaky injuries. Doesn't matter. It's hardwood. Doesn't matter what it's on, right? But Anderson was trying to get loose, like on an inbounds play or something, or he was maybe trying to cover somebody, pick up full court, and he tried to dig in, make a cut, and it just slipped on him, and the guy got hurt. And it's at that point, it was kind of getting ridiculous. And I think enough people said something, and Yormark had to do it. Now, it's like, we got to give the guy credit because he tries all these things. Some of it's kind of like, the Big 12 football game, for instance, the Big 12 championship football. I'm not going to go. I'm going to go if Baylor's in it, or maybe it's some incredible matchup. That's what's going to make me go, and most fans. Now, maybe so this time they had John Pardee, the country music singer. He's pretty good. My daughter likes him. I mean, he's closer. I mean, I kind of respect him because he's closer to my age. Z. He's not one of these young bucks. I mean, he's kind of got a little age on him, and then they'll bring back like a rapper that's my age, like who did they have a couple?
Did they have Vanilla Ice or somebody like that a while back?
Didn't go that far. It was. I don't know. I mean, again, I applaud him for trying different things. This turned out to be a bad idea. Conceptually, it was interesting, and I thought it was kind of cool, some of the things they could do with it, both on television, and I guarantee it would have been a lot neater to kind of see it in person. But I don't think they tried this thing out enough. If you're going to roll something out at this very important part of the season, you better have that thing. You better have something. And I don't know if it's high school players or, I hate to sacrifice somebody like Mosley's like, well, just have the McDonald's All-Americans try it out.
Go out there,
yeah, get out there and try it. But it was not up to code. It was not up to what it needed to be. And so he's basically said, love the court, but you all need to go back and look at this thing again. Yeah. And the teams like Baylor that have already been knocked out, that were slipping around the floor, what can they do? What can they do? Now you say, well, both teams had to deal with it. Let me tell you who deals with it better. The teams that have the best front court players. Whether that be Kansas, because they got a couple of pretty good front court players. TCU has good front court players. Those were the teams that seemed to handle this thing the best. Although Houston's going to be able to beat you on any court. That's just the way they're wired. I kind of feel like that's why I can't wait for this Houston-Kansas matchup. I kind of feel like Kelvin is thinking he has a little something for these guys in this, because it was the first time in a while they haven't won the regular season conference title. I was looking back and it almost made my heart hurt a little bit. The Bears in that 1920 COVID season where they had to shut things down for the tournament before the tournament was held. Bears go 15-3 that season in conference. Now, Kansas went 17-1. One of those teams had a great chance to win it all. Baylor and Kansas would have both been, I think, number one seeds 2019-20. The following year, Baylor was a number one seed, and they won the title. The following year, 2021-22, Baylor was again a number one seed. That is how great Scott Drew had this thing going. Z-Man, they had 3 straight years where, again, we can't truly say what it would have been for that COVID year, 2019-20, but there is a chance that Baylor could have had 3 straight number one seeds. And people go, well, Baylor, then that came undone. Not really. 2022-23 season, I think that was Jacoby Walter and Meese's season, they were like a 3 seed in the tournament. So, I mean, this thing didn't just, I mean, people are like, well, Scott doesn't know how to use the portal. I mean, okay. That year that they were only like an 8 seed or whatever, or 9 seed, not last year's team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they had enough money to somehow land freaking VJ Edgecombe, who was one of the greatest freshmen in the country, Jeremy Roach, who turned out to be a bust, but I promise you he cost money, and Norchad O'Meara cost you like $1 million. I mean, those 3 players right there cost you at least like around $5 million, $6 million. Jeez, man. So let's not act like nobody was contributing to Scott's NIL fund. Now, what they got to fix is how they evaluate this fund. Okay. Z, I gave you Joseph's email, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. I sent him the link.
Perfect. All right. He'll be joining us soon. Z-Man, what else do you have for us in Campus Confidential?
I'm going to stay in the Big 12, but Kansas State has now found their new head coach in Belmont's Casey Alexander. Alexander has been with Belmont the past 7 seasons, where he's gone 166 and 60, winning 3 regular season championships. Although the Bruins of Belmont have not played in an NCAA tournament with him at the helm. But he did also help them transition from the Ohio Valley Conference to where they're now in the Missouri Valley Conference, and had a very impressive coaching resume doing so. He will now take over for Jerome Tang, who was fired last month at Kansas State.
It's hard to say. I mean, I love the job Bucky's done at A&M, coming from Samford. There have been other coaches hired out of Belmont because they've been a good program now. And by the way, for some reason I looked this up. They've copied us. They've got their Bruin is called Bruiser the Bruin. All right, and then Ned was a Bruin bear character used before the adoption of the modern Bruiser costume in the fall of 2003. I kind of like Ned. It says Ned is currently kept in storage at the Curb Event Center.
Let's bring Ned back out. He's just sitting there in storage.
It says the original mascot, sometimes referred to as a skeleton in the closet in school lore, known for a storyline involving an ego and honey addiction.
Okay.
Now, wait a second. Back in the 1930s, Belmont used live bears as mascots before transitioning fully to costume characters. How about that? Because
I was about to say, we know something
Baylor,
about that too, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they do how to drink Dr. Pepper. And here's the transition. It says Bruiser the Bruin replaced Ned in 2003 with the name chosen by students. I'd like to know, when did Baylor name come up with Bruiser? All right, I need to find that. I mean, it's very
here we go. Baylor University named their costume bear mascot Bruiser following a student contest in 1997.
Oh, interesting. And then joined by a partner mascot, Marigold, in 2017. All right, that was Title IX decision. Oh, man. It said he followed earlier versions, including the Wendy's bear and a green bear in the 1990s.
Oh, I remember. Okay, yeah. The one that was, I remember that.
The green bear was a freaky looking Kelly green, like a very scary bear.
Didn't they have like bear paws too that were like that green color? I feel like I'm gonna look this up real quick now.
I don't know, but the best thing that they ought to bring back is the growl towel. That was from the Taft era, and Bob Fix would sit over there as a gold towel, and I think they were basically growl towels were just kind of like what they'd use at a car wash. In fact, might have come from the Genie Car Wash in Waco or something. But the growl towel was awesome. Daryl Lanus, anybody who's buddies with him out there, ask Daryl how he came up with the growl towel and when they rolled that out. For a brief period of time, I had the Growl Towel podcast. All right. I think it was very, very highly acclaimed, critically acclaimed, you might say. All right. We will have Joseph Duarte joining us at 2:00 live from the tournament. And we'll ask him about the court. And that'll be good. But what else do you have for me in Campus Confidential?
2 quick things. I have a little note here, and then I'll close out with this story so we can get to Joseph. But just, I guess, a little bit of breaking news within the past hour. Cincinnati has fired Wes Miller as their men's basketball coach after 5 seasons.
Okay.
And then the last thing I saw that was also a bit interesting is that it looks like there is going to be $3.3 billion with a B dollars bet on the NCAA tournament this upcoming year. That's approximately how much they're anticipating, which is actually double the amount that was bet on the Super Bowl. They looked through this whole kind of college basketball season to see that it continues the uptick in betting on college basketball. And the game, at least the article that I found from ESPN, the game that got approximately the most money betted and traded on was a Big 12 matchup back on February 16th between Houston and Iowa State, which took approximately, 12.7 million worth in bets nationwide over it. But so, yeah, college basketball betting has now turned into a very, very expensive thing.
I guess, was that like a big Monday game or whatever?
I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know why that would have. That's interesting. And good news. That's not good news. I hate that for Wes.
It was a big Monday game.
Cincinnati, they had won going into the tournament. They had won like 6 out of their last 8 games, and were kind of on a roll. And we're a bubble team. That'd be hilarious if they fired him and then somehow they got in the tournament. they get named to the tournament. I mean, what do you think you are, Cincinnati? My gosh. I mean, I know you were great back in the Huggins days, but that's forever ago. Jeez. Well, I mean,
they had Kenyon Martin back then.
I think that guy can coach a little bit.
Well, I was looking at his 18 and 15 this year, but they have like 23 and 13 in the 22-23 year, 22 and 15 in the 23-24 year. It's just he didn't make the tournament. Like they had winning records, they just didn't make the tournament.
Who was the coach there before Cincinnati came into the Big 12? I don't know. And yet, UCF is stuck with Johnny Dawkins through the good times and the bad times, mostly bad times, but they got better this year and will likely make the tournament. So lots going on. We will have Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle joins us next.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. No reputable company or government agency will ever ask you to pay them with gift cards, Bitcoin, or a person-to-person payment app. Scammers use these options because the money can't be traced. Just don't do it.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's internxt.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
Experience with the Mosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
MosleyMD.com.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
On is the Mosley Show. Just sitting here reading on a Cowboys related note that just went down. Dolphins have signed ex-Cowboy Jalen Tolbert, former Cowboy third-round pick. And, he in 2024, he had close to 50 catches, 610 yards, and 7 touchdowns. All right. And he'll be reunited with Dolphins' new starter, Malik Willis. All right. Adds size, speed, and red zone skills to a receiver group led by Jalen Waddle, and including rookies Malik and Taj Washington. There you go. There you go with some things going on there. And I am in touch with Joseph Duarte to make sure that he is good to go. Good to go from Kansas City, site of the Big 12 tournament. Kind enough to jump on with us. I mean, you never know when breaking news could have come up, and so Bucky Ball did cancel on me the other day. Could the young Duarte do it? Surely not. That does not seem like his style at all. But I'll watch to see if he and Z-Man, send him one more link again just for the heck of it. I always like to make sure it's the first thing in their okay. Z does that without me even having to ask. I'm kind of curious if Z is into this World Baseball Classic, WBC. I mean, I was honestly I was so cringing for Mark DeRosa appearing to not. Okay, he's saying that he didn't get anything.
I just sent it again, but I'll send a third one just to be safe. And yes to the World Baseball Classic. And I don't think Mark DeRosa knows still that they could have lost there. And I think he's just trying to cover for himself.
I think he found it. Okay, good. He found it. And that's interesting. But the WBC, DeRosa did look really, really bad. And the other nations seemed to be so into this. And it just looked like kind of a half-a type approach that Team USA was taking. In fact, I turned that game against Italy on the other night, and I was so, this speaks to American whatever, ego or something. But when I saw the score was 8-4, I assumed Team USA was up. And yeah, does it come from Rogue Sports? Yes. I think one thing, Z, I've tried to do recently is just put something like huge in the subject line, like this is from the Mosley show or something. But for some reason, the Rogue, I mean, you would think with our decorated Rogue media, but I see him. I want to give him a second to get settled. Oh, there he is.
What's up, Matt?
There he is. I never worried about you, by the way, the whole time. I did launch into some WBC talk, some World Baseball Classic talk, as I was vamping to get ready for Joseph Duarte to join us from a undisclosed hotel room, perhaps in downtown Kansas City. Joseph looking great, looking regal as always, as you get ready for this big semifinal game, Houston and Kansas. We finally got to a point in this tournament, Joseph, where they said, you know what, these are going to be really good games. We probably ought to get these guys like a decent basketball court in there. Joseph, did you, and I love having you on, thanks for doing this, were you enjoying the aesthetic and the was it fun to see in person this glass court before everybody started complaining about slipping and migraine headaches? What was it like in person? Did you enjoy that aspect of it?
You know, the national anthem was kind of cool because you could do the flag on the court, do the whole technology stuff. But you know, when I got there yesterday or Wednesday for the first time, and I started walking on it, it had a weird, didn't feel like a court. It kind of had that bounce to it. So like when you would put your foot, it would kind of make that motion. So it was strange. You know, the game yesterday, I didn't really get anything out of the on-court stats or anything like that. It was just, I mean, it's one of those cute things, but you know, to your point, you don't do this at the Big 12 tournament. You don't do it with bids on the line or seating on the line. If this is experimental, do it in a non-conference, one of those MTE tournaments.
Yes.
Players Era, wherever. But you do not take away from your product. The Big 12 had a fantastic year. You had teams that are going to compete for the national championship, but everybody's talking about the court. Nobody's talking about Arizona or Houston or Iowa State, talking about the potential for injuries and what nearly could have been devastating for Christian Anderson of Texas Tech last night, and just for some gimmick. So while people are saying they applaud, you know, Brett Yormark for realizing a mistake, it should have never come to that to begin with. We actually heard from the women last week that, hey, this court, it's got some problems. It's got some footing issues. But hey, let's go ahead and do it. But I mean, I guess it's better to get the last 3 games in and try to, get the things back on track. But I mean, this was really not I don't want to say well thought out, but it had some issues in it from the get-go.
Yeah, and I was embarrassed for Baylor, first of all, that they lost to Arizona State, but second of all, you can't go to all those post-game news conferences, and you don't really probably want to do that. But in that one, it was just like the entire thing had become about the court. Like Baylor's season had basically just ended. Maybe they'll play in the Crown or something like that. But every question was like, what'd you think about the court? What'd you think about that? And I to your point, that was the moment I thought, oh my gosh, this court has upstaged the dang tournament. This tournament, we always talk about how incredible it is. And yet this bells and whistles, weird LED court had upstaged everything. And I think Scott Drew was asked one question about the season/game, and the players and Scott were only asked about that court.
Yeah, and you know, the players and coaches obviously they don't want to disparage the league, so they're not gonna probably be as candid as they want to be. But I mean, just I had a courtside seat yesterday, and you hear the typical squeaking that you would normally hear, but it was a lot more. And then all of a sudden, I see Emmanuel Sharp just slide past me, and he's like on an ice skating rink, or he was like out in the backyard on a slip and slide. It's just not being a player, not being out there, and not knowing what was going on. There was slippery, but I could only imagine what it was like to be out there, because there were a lot of bodies falling. And then, oh, by the way, remember they had to make some adjustments because you couldn't even tell early on where midcourt was. And then there were a couple of plays last night with Houston that they were stepping out of bounds. So, somebody needs to go back to the drawing board on this in the off season, not in season, and fix the kinks. And maybe it's a great thing for the future. It's just like you said, Matt. I mean, this is one of the premier conference tournaments out there that there's the potential to have maybe 2 Final Four teams from the league, and you almost self-sabotage. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense at all.
Will you take video tonight? Have one of your buddies video you taking some jab steps out there on the new floor, and show me how you're able to get better stability and everything. That is.
I mean, I know there's contingency plans, but it's kind of interesting that there was a court available.
Yeah.
I've seen some social media people having fun where they're posting the old court from the Sprint Center, where they're saying that they're going to get a Sharpie and just cover the Sprint Center with T-Mobile Center. But yeah, I mean, at least they had a court available. But last night when I left the arena, they were already taking things apart. So it looks like the court is pretty much in place and ready to go today. But
yeah,
that's just an extra 18 hours or whatever it's been that you had to needlessly go and replace the surfaces.
Do the Cougs fans? Do they like the? I mean, obviously, Iowa State, Kansas fans, K-State in the past take this thing over. It's not convenient so much for the Texas-based teams, right. But the Cougs have gotten so great that their fans do travel, and they do really well in those first rounds of the NCAA tournament, because I've seen them and been with them, like when we were in Memphis. Weren't we all in Memphis together?
Yeah.
What do they do for this tournament? Do they kind of save their money for the NCAA tournament, or do you get a pretty good little Cougs traveling squad?
Yeah, there's that little pocket that's normally there, regardless. But yeah, you see an uptick in the first and second rounds, and of course they're all going to be at the big party when it's at the South Region and Toyota Center. But this place, you would think Kansas would be the draw, but they call it Hilton East for Hilton Coliseum and Iowa State, because last year when Houston played Iowa State in that championship game, it was 95% Iowa State fans. And I think if you're the city of Kansas City, you're hoping for Iowa State and Kansas, because that'd be a huge draw. You might get Arizona and Houston, and who knows who will show up for that one, based off of one being way out west and the other one being one of the Texas schools. So the Houston fans, they have started to travel. San Antonio was a great turnout last year for the Final Four, but it's for, I think they become spoiled. They're already looking ahead, and the fact that Oklahoma City is a drivable game and easy to get to, that's where you'll see a large group. And then I think it'll be like it'll be fun getting tickets for the South Region. I just think you throw them in the middle of the street and let all the Houston fans fight for them, because that's kind of what it's going to come down to. People are going to be doing everything and anything to get tickets for those two games in a couple of weeks.
Is there anything that makes you think the Cougars are headed to? I mean, they played for a national title. Everybody wants Kelvin to get one. It's weird because Juwan, I mean, he had become such a great low post presence, and I keep hearing people say, well, they don't have that steady someone that can get down there. And it's weird because Sanak has the size, but he just doesn't love operating down there. JoJo from time to time actually has some moves down there, but like I think this team can certainly has a chance to get back to the Final Four, but it's never felt quite this year that they were as good as like last year's team, or maybe even the team from 2 years ago that got trying to think where they got beat.
That was Jamal in Dallas, where Jamal Shed got hurt.
Yes. Where do you think this team stacks up? Because this is something we're not used to, is Kelvin turning his team really over to a freshman point guard. And I in some ways, Uzan at times has gotten lost in the shuffle, it seems like, this year. We keep talking about Kansas's ceiling, but what do you think Houston's ceiling is? And do you sense that, hey, they have just as good a chance as anybody of winning it all?
Yeah, and that was one of the conversations last night. They feel like there's another level to where they can go. They haven't maybe put it all together yet. And a lot of that, the difference is last year was a veteran. Even 2 years ago, they were veteran teams led by veteran players. Now they do have Sharp and Uzan, but they've never had to rely on the significant minutes that Flemings and Sanak bring to the table. So to your point on the post, in the past, Jawan Roberts they went through everything they did went through Roberts, and he was such a good passer, but he also had the ability to score. He could have a 15, 20-point game on some nights, and you knew sort of what you were going to get out of him. Now with Tugler, problem number one is for part of the season or a lot of the season, he would get in foul trouble. So you didn't have him on the floor. Go back to the national championship game last year. When when Florida got back into the game, JoJo Tugler was on the bench in foul trouble. So there's one problem. But when he scores, and he has scored lately a lot and stayed in games and is playing 25, 27 minutes, they're a completely different team. They're a better team, and they're a very capable team of getting to the Final Four. It's just there haven't been a lot of moments yet where everything has come together like that. So when Emmanuel Sharp goes 1 for 10 or close to that last night, you need somebody else. And unfortunately, Milos didn't have a great shooting night as well. So you are having to rely on Kingston a little bit more. And that could be an interesting case for Houston in March if he can carry them, because at times this year he's had to be the guy. He wants to be that guy, but March Madness and how things change. It can get pretty tough depending on your draw. So you're gonna need a lot of things, including that that post presence, because you're right. Sanak doesn't play there. He actually told him at the beginning of the year, look, I was a 5 in high school. I want to play the 4. So he plays more out in the perimeter. He's guarding guys that he never guarded, those type of guys in high school. And he's got a nice kind of a mid-range game where he can step out, he can hit the 3, but he's not around the basket as much as you would think, and that's where you need either JoJo or Khalifa Sacco off the bench to produce.
How do you think Houston started doing all of a sudden the one and done? And he's developed. He likes to get players old. But these two could be one and dones almost for certain. Obviously, Kingston, because he looks like he's going to be a lottery pick. Like, was that, do you think, more NIL money, or was that just a tangible? Was that Kelvin saying, you know what, we might as well, we've gotten to this point, and why not go after a kid who could come in here and make a huge impact early? Because it kind of goes against what he's been about in the past a little bit.
Right. Well, in the first few years at Houston, that was never even an option. I mean, they were building things up from roster to facility, and then as they got better, Kelvin was more. I don't want to say content, but he liked the development aspect. They were winning with 3-star guys like Fabian White Jr. and they point guards like Galen Robinson and Rob Gray. They were really good without getting the McDonald's All-Americans, the 5-stars, the one and done. And then Jarris Walker sort of changed things when he came here out of IMG, played his 1 year, gets drafted by the Pacers. And I think if somebody like it wasn't a one and done, but like if Quentin Grimes had been here several years, I think that could have been a lot different for him in terms of his draft stock, even though he ended up going into the league and has done well. But then the last few years, Flemings, Harwell, and Sinak, they could have all gotten more money somewhere else. And Kelvin's admitted that they've said, hey, we came here because we wanted to be coached hard. We want to develop. And Kelvin's pretty much said they're going to get their money on the back end. So why not get better, come in here to get developed, and then you're sort of ready to go off for the NBA. So it'll be interesting. They could have 2 guys in the first round, which would be incredible for this program. You've had Marcus Sasser go in the past and Jamal, Shed and guys like that. But it's not for Houston. It's not about the NIL. It's about, they're paying these guys, but they're not having to go out and do what the Kentuckys are and the Arkansas or whoever. But still, there's the one and dones have certainly come and play in the last few years, and that's just something we haven't seen with this Houston program. I guess think about the Phi Slamma Jamma. Even those guys, stuck around for a while. But now we're talking about lottery type picks, and we haven't heard that in a long time in Houston.
Is Kingston like a fun kid to be around? Like I like him in interviews and he seems engaging and everything, but like what is and it seems like his teammates like him a lot, but that's an interesting place for him to be because Uzan, was helped get them really far. Emmanuel's been around for a lot of this success. For him to step up and in his willingness to want to take these big shots and want to have the ball in his hands, man, that's a lot. There's a lot to that. What's he like personality wise? Is he already shown a lot of maturity? What's he like to be around?
Yeah, he's very mature. He's very even keeled. You don't see a lot of highs and lows with them. You really want to get him talking. You talk about the Seattle Seahawks. He loves them. He's like super fan. And when the Super Bowl was around, he was giving us predictions and scores and who was going to have this amount of rushing yards and what the defense was going to do. So yeah, he's that kind of guy. He's very welcoming. For the media, you want a guy that's engaging and wants to talk. And he's been just great the entire time. And I think it goes to Kelvin's program because in my 15 years or 12 years since Kelvin's been here, it's always been a good locker room. Guys fit in. You don't have any outliers or outcasts. And Kingston's just another one of those guys. He's got his quiet moments, but he comes from a family that's just pure basketball. He's got a sister who's going to go play at Duke and very competitive. So there's a lot of funness about him. And but you're right. There's a lot that comes into that, not only that position, but just being a freshman. And it would be easy to get lost in this freshman class with everybody else that's done well nationally. And even in the Big 12 with Devanza and Darren Peterson. But Kingston's held his own and has proven that, he worked his way into a possible top 5 pick. The guy that, out of the big 3 that came in, Harwell is the one that, injury set him back. So I think Sinak and Fleming are gone, and we see Harwell back for another year and maybe get back in that discussion because he was a first-round talk entering the season.
And I like when a guy like McCarty kind of hangs in there, yes, and then emerges as a key guy. I'll be fascinated to see how Kelvin handles the next couple of years because he certainly will want to hand this over to Kellen at some point, but you can't help but then watch like this Steve Pearl situation, and Bruce hands him the Auburn job, and it has gone anything but smoothly. And it won't ever be perfect, and you don't know. And maybe the best timing would be if Kelvin won a national title and rode out that way. But man, does that ever cross your mind when you see a guy like Stephen Pearl, who I mean, maybe Kellen's worked longer and harder at it than Stephen Pearl has. I don't know.
I think that's part of it. And, they played each other. They played each other this year. And, Kellen and Stephen Pearl have a lot of parallels and how their careers are gone, and they, playing or being on their dad's staffs and stuff. But the setup that Kelvin has put together at Houston ensures for about as smooth a transition in my mind as you can have. And Kellen is ready. Kellen has had job offers. He's had the chance to leave and has decided not to because, one, there's the family aspect. He's got 2 young children. They get to see their grandfather all the time. He gets to work for his dad, and his sister's right down the hall. I mean, it is a perfect setup. But at some point, I think in the next 2 years or so, when Kelvin Sampson decides to step down, they call it Camelot. And I think, you see Kellen come in there, and it's about as smooth a transition as you'll get because the name will still be attached. And Kellen's very capable. No knock on Stephen Pearl. I don't know him personally. I don't follow him enough on a day-to-day basis as far as his coaching. But you can see where Kellen is at in his stage of his career. He is ready. And I think that whether it's recruiting or just the X's and O's, watch him one game if the TV is showing him. The similarities between him and his dad, the mannerisms, all that stuff. Kellen's got a lot of Kelvin in him. And it's fun to watch because sometimes when you listen to them talk, sounds like you're talking to Kelvin, but you're really talking to Kellen.
Wow, that's interesting.
Great lines too. They're both king of one-liners. Which
really?
Yeah, they're both up. They're fantastic interviews.
Well,
it was good to have.
Yeah, you should ask Kelvin if he's or Kellen if they've ever seen the movie Camelot or the musical. That'd be interesting. But that's interesting that they call it that because, of course, that came up around the Kennedys as well back in the day, as you well know. Joseph, thank you. I hope you enjoy just the aesthetics. You will not have all that LED lights flashing, won't maybe causing headaches and that kind of thing. And I hope you get another courtside seat. I was glad to see that the media was not pleased with Mr. Yormark moving everybody up to the heights. And so he's moved some of the media back there courtside. And so I'm happy to hear you're back where you belong. All right.
Well, thanks, Matt, for having me on anytime. Okay.
You bet. There he goes. Joseph Duarte, Houston Chronicle, live from Kansas City, where he's been monitoring all of this stuff with the court happening. And we had that story in Campus Confidential today. I didn't bring this up with him. Z-Man, come back here for a little bit before we have to say goodbye, and we can take care of some of our duties. By the way, Monday, I will take care of our Schmaltz's trivia contest. Love those Schmaltz's sandwiches. I'll do that. And then Kevin, at the end of Z-Man, at the end of each show, we bring up the landing, the Brazos Landing. We usually put the graphic up there. I don't know if you see it down there, but if you don't, it's okay. The Lindsay family will forgive you. Because, oh man, there's nothing Z-Man can't come up with. Now, Z, I hope you'll come by. You'll have your hands full, I know, but the J-Mo and I will both be over at Brazos Landing Wednesday as we prepare for the start of March Madness. Now, we'll have that first 4 in or whatever. I mean, again, that's all dumb. I don't really care about that. I care about what happens Thursday and Friday, but Wednesday we will be on site at the Brazos Landing. I like that, Z, when you kind of get that light right shining up on your face. I can see the I'm not hearing you. You're just get that sound going.
There we go.
Okay.
Does it work well?
The Z-Man. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. It kind of sheds light on the beard. When I hear Kingston Fleming speak, and when I look at him, I was trying to think what former college and NBA great that I kind of see. Now, this guy was, I think, taller than him, so it's not just a direct comparison, but this is just sort of the aesthetic, sort of the way he looks, and even the way he talks a little bit. He reminds me of this all-time NBA great, Derrick Rose.
I do love me some Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. And I was in the stands. You'll like this, Z. I had great seats for when Kansas came back to beat, kind of like what happened to Houston against NC State all those years ago. Memphis missed a couple of free throws, and Kansas put that game into OT. And I think that was Chalmers hit that huge shot, and Kansas won the national title. And the voice of TCU and I were sitting together for that one. His name is Brian Estridge, and we were there. We were working together at the time in Dallas radio. And the seats that we took over was an older gentleman who had been a famous coach for Georgia Tech. And he and his wife had gone home a little early. They decided not to stay for the second half of that game. And Estridge and I made a beeline for his seats, and that would be Bobby Crimmins, the old Georgia Tech coach. And we took over his seats. And when that unbelievable ending happened, we were in position for that. Now, before we have to say goodbye, let's get everybody caught up. And I'll tell you, Z, will you look for last-minute NFL news? We did have Snead, the cornerback from the Titans, getting released earlier. We had that story about ETN wants to be called something different, Achan now.
Yep.
And so that's fine. We'll call him whatever he wants to be called. You had the news that Cincinnati had fired Wes Miller. We've now had two Big 12 coaches fired, Bobby Hurley and Wes Miller, both gone. I don't know who Cincinnati thinks it is, but that guy had actually kind of turned it around this year. I kind of like the job he was doing. So you look for NFL news while I update everybody on college basketball. Right now, Illinois has a 36-30 lead at halftime over Wisconsin. Wisconsin's been doing some really good things. They've got some great wins this year. I believe they are firmly in the NCAA tournament. Michigan beat Ohio State 71-67, and Dayton has a 30-27 halftime lead over the Bonnies of St. Bonaventure. All right, I think that's where our buddy Woj is. Woj was being accused of having a coach fired, but whatever. Surely Woj would not do something like that. No. Florida, University of Florida is wrapping up its win. Just a couple seconds left in that one, and that's about to go to a final. And Florida, that game's over now. Florida wins that one 71-63 over Kentucky. All right, and let me see if there's any other. Charlotte took down the UAB Blazers in the American Conference Championship quarterfinal, 83-78. So down goes the UAB Blazers. Who's the best team in that conference this year? I think the answer is South Florida. So we'll see how they do. Getting ready to start as we speak is UNT and Tulsa. Unbeknownst to me, until this very moment, Z, Tulsa had a great season. I didn't know. They're 25-6.
That's some of the beauty of these conference tournaments, though, too. Though you get to see the teams that you haven't been able to watch, because you don't turn in on a random Tuesday night at like 6:00 on ESPNU or whatever it's on.
Let me ask you this: as Tennessee and Vandy are getting ready to go on ESPN any minute now. Since the tournament is played in Nashville, does Vandy have a home court advantage over Tennessee, or does the fact that Tennessee is a state school and has a much bigger alumni base, do we think Tennessee will have more fans than Vandy? I kind of think they will. Where do you stand on that?
I think they would too. I'm trying to think of something like in our state that would warrant it. I don't know how far Knoxville is from Nashville, but I was trying to think if like a Big 12 tournament or some tournament for some reason was like played in Waco, would there be more UT fans or A&M fans if they're a part of it than Baylor fans? And I still think that I think that there might be a stronger showing of Vandy fans. I'm going to believe in the smaller school here that's just closer, and I'm gonna think that there might be some more Commodore fans in the stands.
Now, but they don't get to play in that weird place where I think that's the team that their benches are like on the baselines.
Yeah.
Isn't that Vandy?
Yeah,
I got to go with the Vols here. You and I soon can turn that on and see with our own eyes. The Vols favored by 1.5 in this one. Tennessee and Vandy getting ready to go. And then, of course, as we were just talking about, you'll have this afternoon, for instance. This will be fun. This will be a fun Friday afternoon. Seton Hall and St. John's at 4:30 on Fox. Purdue and Nebraska get going in the quarterfinal on the Big Ten Network. And then, of course, our Big 12 game at 6 with the Cyclones and Arizona, and then Kansas and Houston, which is the late one. Is that Kansas and Houston?
I think that's the 8:30 one. Yeah.
I feel like it should be Arizona because they're a West Coast team. They should be used to these late night. No, I think you're right. I think maybe we do get Kansas and
Iowa State and Arizona's at 6, Kansas and Houston 8:30.
Wow. Man, just get a pizza and watch some of this. Z-Man, any NFL news we need to share before we sign off? Anything new other than that Cowboys one that I was telling you about?
A couple former Cowboys. Did we talk about Jalen Tolbert on a 1-year deal to the Dolphins?
We brought it up, but you can bring it up again. Yeah.
But also, Wanye Thomas has signed with the Colts. So as a safety, the Colts doing a couple safety signings, also bringing in Jonathan Owens. The only other big deal, the Panthers sign a linebacker, Dolphins sign a long snapper. The biggest rumor that I've seen since we've done the show that's popped back up is it's believed that both the Patriots and the Rams are going to be making a strong push to acquire A.J. Brown from the Eagles.
Now, the Rams had been in on him, and I thought that had cooled off a little bit. Who else did you say?
The Rams and the Patriots, yeah. Who just signed Dobbs from the Packers as well.
So who do they have now? Mac Hollins, Dobbs. Who else do the Patriots have? Okay.
That depth chart.
A.J. Brown would be a number 1. Dobbs, Mac. They don't
really have any. Kayshon Boutte is still there.
Yeah. He's okay. Mm-hmm. I thought he was the one in the playoffs. Hollins made some good catches, but Boutte.
And then we have guys like Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, and Efton Chisholm III.
I just like that. I like that name.
I bet that's Cam's guy, probably.
Yeah, Cam would be able to tell us all these things. Let's not call him. Let's let him do his own thing. Baylor's got the great Tyquan Thornton. He got re-signed by the Chiefs, didn't he? And
yes,
he's he kind of hung in there, man. They were down, and they had that guy that likes to drag race, is always getting in trouble. Rashee Rice was out for the first few games, and Ty Thornton got up. I mean, he really did some nice things. I know it did not work out for him with the Patriots, but he unfortunately was he didn't get to play for this latest group of Patriots. So there you go. I mean, in golf, it's going to be a fun weekend. The TPC at Sawgrass. This is a great tournament to watch. And right now, you had Rory fighting to stay in the weekend. Can you look? My phone played out.
Yeah,
Can you look and see if Rory is going to make the cut or not?
I'm pulling up the cut list right now.
All right. I mean, they're still out there on the course, so we don't have the cut yet. But I was just wanting to see what Rory finished, because yesterday he was not great. When I was watching, he was 2 over. Where is he?
55th. He's tied for 55th right now. He was 1 over for the tournament. Yeah, he was 1 under today, but he's 1 over for the tournament.
Can you see the projected cut line? Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. And I believe Maverick McNeely's the one who got off to a great start and had the great first day. Who's in the lead right now? It's somebody at 10 under.
Yeah, it's I'm terrible with this. I'm going to butcher this last name. Schauffele? Schauffele.
Maybe after he wins his third major, you'll learn his name.
Terrible.
Xander Schauffele.
Thank you, Schauffele. But I will be honest, my golf knowledge has dipped the past 3-4 years, but the projected cut line is 2 over.
If you hang with
right
me,
under there.
If you hang with me, we'll get you where you need to go. I wonder what Spieth's doing. Spieth hit one in the water yesterday. The only other one I was going to get you to look up is Baylor's own.
Spieth's tied for 19th right now at 3 under.
Hanging in there. What about John Kiefer? Do a little look for Keefer, Baylor's own. Johnny Kiefer is the last one I'll hit you up for.
He was even for the day, but he's still 4 over for the tournament, so he's tied for 84th right now.
We have to call it. We have to call the show. That's all. That's not. I can't deal with it anymore. By the way, have you watched any of Pete? Doing the American conference.
No, how is it?
Well, he's doing. Pete does great.
Yeah,
Pete's doing fine, but he's with this guy that drives me nuts. This Spatola, and you can totally tell Spatola thinks that he should be doing a more prestigious conference, and Spatola is extremely arrogant. That's the way he comes across.
Yeah.
Now, he married Coach K's daughter. All right, which is that's not a bad thing to do if you want to help your broadcasting career. Yeah. He played at Army. I think he's a good guy. I really do think he's a good guy. I think he's got some Jay Billis in him. I've had Jay on, and Jay can be prickly and a little bit difficult to deal with. But God love Pete, because Pete has such a great attitude. And there's Pete doing all his thing, trying to set that guy up. And the guy's been okay, but I've seen it in the past where the guy just acts like a total jerk. And but the thing I brought it up for is that you look up in that tournament, and they're playing it in Birmingham, which is a great city, great town. I mean, it's not like you go, well, what are they doing in Birmingham today? They should be out watching some basketball, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know why UAB gets to host this thing. Who knows? I bet there are literally 300 people in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It is not well attended.
They're just waiting for the finals. That's all. They know that that's the game to go to. They're just waiting to see how it pans out. It'll be a packed house for 500 might show up for that.
They told me just to try to bring in more fans.
Mm-hmm.
They shipped that LED court there to Birmingham.
Well, the comments that I heard from Grant McCaslin on it too was that there's enough space down there in the paint, but it was hard for the guards with that quick step and stuff. So maybe it'll help things for their conference play. But.
By the way, I used to play against Grant. I don't think it would have really impacted him that much. Boy, the worst is when you're a college player, like a walk-on like Grant was, and then and he was good. I mean, it's not like he wasn't good. He was a talented guy. But then he would come try to play with some of us, the intramural people. And I'm not saying I was one of these people. I'm just saying I was around them and I played with a lot of like really good players.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they love to try to stick it to a guy on the team. And I mean, it was just pull up from everywhere. I mean, the Sigma Chi's were Steph before they were Steph. And literally were launching it and totally could make it from 28 feet. Baylor was so bad back in the day when I was like a freshman in college, a fifth-year guy who's become a friend of mine. His name is Scott Sexton. And he just went out for a tryout for Baylor and made the team. And he was just a random KOT, which is like a local fraternity. And they said, come on. And not only did he make the team, he was one of the better players on the team, and he literally walked onto the team from the intramural leagues. And then my fraternity brother, Shad Grubbs from South Garland High School, Z, was capable of like in an intramural game going off for like 14 or 15 threes easy. And that's how I got into that fraternity, because one day at the Russell gym, I happened to be guarding him, or he was guarding me, and I kind of went off on him. And I swear they thought I was like really good, and I really wasn't, but I had like a very successful day against this great player. Thus, that's how I think that's really how I got into Fiji.
I was going to say real quick, it's funny you say that, just to add to it. I would play just some intramural or just, pickup games around here. And there was a guy that we played with that would help. Like he was really good in high school, but he would help Mulkey when they would practice, and he would be one of the practice squad members for the women's team while I was here. And so I remember when he would come to play with us, and all the other guys like, come on, you play with the women, like just giving him all kinds of hell for it. And then we would start playing, and he would just
go crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, that's why obviously she uses them to help him practice. But
yeah, there was a guy. So I'm at Baylor. I show up in like 92. 91, 92. And I was there. I graduated undergrad in 95, then went to law school. But there was a guy that would show up to play intramurals, and his name was Carlos Briggs. And for years, you would still see him around Baylor. Like you would see this guy, Z, and I promise you've seen him before. First of all, he's a different looking guy. Mm-hmm. He looks like Dennis Johnson the old Celtics great. He just kind of has that kind of red. He's a black guy with kind of red hair or reddish hair. And he would just dominate the intramural leagues. But the funny thing about it is, so here we were playing in like 94 and 95, and he had been on the Baylor team literally in 1983 and 84, and he was still showing up at the rec center schooling all of us. He was like 10 years removed from being on the Baylor team. He'd pull up, I mean, literally, didn't matter, 27, 28 feet. And then there was a guy named Steve Gaventner, and there was a guy named John something, and there was Marcus Skates, who was on the Baylor tennis team. And they were just like dudes that worked for the Russell Gym, like for the intramural group. And they were all like beyond belief good. Like just nobody. I literally think if you got 5 of the Baylor players and you brought them over to Russell that group, there's no way they could beat them because they were wreck guys.
Yeah.
They knew how to fill it up and nobody could beat them. And of course I ran into them sometimes like in those 3-3 tournaments, and it was bad. It was rough. I think there's still people. We won Hoop It Up one year, and I think I made some calls that were so bad, even my teammates were mad at me. Like, I think even though we won it all, they were like, Mosley, you can't make those calls. I was making some bad calls. All right, man. That's all. We've taken them all the way to 2:50. I told you we were going to get out at 2:30 today. We did not. We never do. Z, thanks. Always enjoy it. Kevin will be back Monday. I think he was doing something like PA. Do you ever do PA? Do you have any PA in your background?
Did back in the day, but it's been a while. It's been like a decade ago, but yeah, at one point in time.
I would get caught like not turning the mic off and like saying things on the mic, on a hot mic. I think I would have trouble with that. Have a great weekend, Z. I appreciate it, and appreciate Brazos Landing. We'll be there Wednesday. Can't wait to do a live show from there. Let's get some rest. Let's watch some college basketball. And then Monday, Z, we'll all be reacting because we'll have our brackets. And finally, we can say goodbye to Auburn and all these sorry bubble teams, okay, that we're sick of hearing about. For the Z-Man, it is the Mosley Show. We'll see you Monday.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allen Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. No reputable company or government agency will ever ask you to pay them with gift cards, Bitcoin, or a person-to-person payment app. Scammers use these options because the money can't be traced. Just don't do it.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.